Latisha Thomas loves her job serving as a manager for a healthcare company. What she loves even more is raising her 5-year-old daughter. A few years ago, it was a different picture. Latisha was recently divorced, had lost her job, and was caring for her baby.
Not very happy with myself at that time and very unsure. But in the back of my mind, I just knew that God would provide. I just didn't know how. I was looking at my mess and said, God, how can you bless the situation? How can you help us here and now? This is too much. This is too much.
As Latisha scraped by on her savings and unemployment checks, the bills became unbearable.
Food was scarce in the house sometimes. We became best friends with a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
But even in her time of need, Latisha tithed faithfully to her church, something she had started months before.
I've seen God work before. Why would I stop now? Whether I'm going to tithe from my wages or from unemployment benefits or a random check in the mail, I'm going to give God what I said I would give him.
It came from something she learned at church.
They taught a basic biblical principle about sowing and that God is really looking for your obedience.
Not only that, Latisha decided to trust God and give more. Shortly after, her phone began to ring.
Every time my phone would ring, it was a different job. It was a different employer saying, are you available for an interview?
Latisha was offered a job. She was excited to get back to work, but soon she was ready for the next step. So she increased her giving again. One day, her supervisor came to her.
She hands me a folded up sheet of paper with a job position. And I applied for it. And I thought that was kind of odd that my current supervisor was showing me another job. She came to me and she said, I believe in you, and I believe that you have an abundant potential to do much more than you're doing right here. Look at this position and apply.
Latisha applied for the job, and 3 weeks later,
I was driving to my daughter's school when I received a phone call, and I answered the phone, and it's the HR director from the dream job. He said, well, I don't want to take up much more of your time, but I'd like to know if you could start this position in 2 weeks. I had to pull over. I had to pull over. I was on the phone, and he's like, are you there? Latisha, are you there? I'm like, yes. I said, can you give me a minute, please? I put the phone on mute, and I began to shout, hallelujah. I was just screaming in the car. I had to pull the car over. I was just so happy.
With a new job, Latisha's salary had doubled. Today, she continues to give more and credits all her success to God's faithfulness.
I had to do this. I didn't have any other resource, so I had to get to know God as my source. This is quoted all the time, Luke 6:38, give, and it shall be given unto you. In good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, shall men give into your bosom. For with the same measure that you meet withal, it shall be measured back to you. I'm sitting here just saying, God has just been so faithful. I mean, really, I could have been anywhere else. It could have gone another way, it really could have. But God has just been so faithful.